Hello to the universe. My name is Lennox. I'm live speaking from Ox Lennox Farms here in Limon, Costa Rica. And today I wanted to explain my reasonings as to why I decided to leave the United States and come to Costa Rica. The first reason is because I wanted to get away from white supremacy. The second reason is because of the food. It's much cleaner here. And the third reason is because of the environment and the people. So to delve into the first reason, white supremacy, I wanted to get away from all the institutions such as the judicial system, the schooling system, the food system, the medical system, all of their systems and institutions. I just wanted to get away from it because it's not set up for me to succeed, And they already have like a plan set out for me, work all my life, and it'll be going towards somebody else. It won't even be passed down. So that's why I decided to buy 2 farms here in Costa Rica, so I can have something I can pass down onto my kids, and not have it a chance of being taken away from me as easy it is in the United States. In the United States, I think I saw a statistic, less than 1% of the original people are farmers. Or it's something like that, Like, it's a crazy statistic. Like, there's a very minute amount of the indigenous people who own land. So something doesn't correlate. And to add on to the reasonings as to the white supremacy thing, when I was in college, I was looking for jobs and internships and stuff like that. And I noticed that the people who were coming to recruit didn't even look like me. And then when I would go to speak to them, they would just show me like a little QR code to scan, and then I would message them and email them, and I wouldn't be getting any responses. And then when I was even speaking to the recruiters, they weren't interested. They didn't want somebody who looks like me. And usually people who look like me kind of think a different way. So I know they don't want that. So that's just another thing. And I didn't want the possibility of me or my children being killed at the hands of somebody else who doesn't look like me, and then get away with it, because the justice system doesn't work there. There's people every day, I'm sure, that are being killed. There's a war going on against the indigenous people since they landed. Since they incarcerated us and looked at us as material, not even as humans, as something that they owned. And it's the same system that goes on today. They still look at us like that, And I don't like that. So I wanted the opportunity to make something for myself and for my future, the people who come after me. And I can do that easier here than I can in the States, where it's like every turn is something set up against me, and I have to jump all these hurdles just to get somewhere. And then it's not really like I'm getting anywhere. So it just didn't make sense to have to spend all of my energy into that. And then my second reason for the food. When it comes to the food in the States, I noticed that since I was young, I was watching videos about all the GMOs that they put in the food, all the pesticides, and like the USDA and what they allow into the food. Like, there's certain percentages of like feces that they allow in the food, and then like a bag of chips will have like 100 ingredients and stuff you can't even pronounce, and it has all these dyes in it, and then be loaded up with like all salt, and then think about even the potatoes. Their conditions are terrible too. I saw a video, they were growing potatoes right next to where the cows are, and then the cows are filled with pus. They're getting shot up too with all these injections. They got all this nastiness built up inside of them. It goes into the meat, into the milk. It's just a sick industry. The food system is a sick industry in the United States. And even like a while ago, I searched up who is like the head member of the USDA. It's the same person who owned, I think it starts with a P. It's like a chicken company. So he's the one that's passing all these rules just so his company can make more money. And the States is like, even here too in Costa Rica, you could tell that people, they value money more than they value people, you know. But in certain areas, it's not like that. Like where I am, it's a bit more out, so it's not gonna be, you know, like heavily. There's still influence, you know, but it's not as heavy as the United States. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy over there. But yeah, when it comes to the food, that's why I decided to have, like, I wanted a farm, but then I had the opportunity to purchase another farm. So in total, I have about like 20 something acres, close to 30, and it allows me to see what's going into my food. You know, I see how clean the soil is. Like my soil here is like a orange, and then the other one is like it hasn't even been touched before. So there's all kind of minerals, and then this all this fertile, like anything you throw into the ground will just sprout, and it'll be every seed. It won't just be a couple seeds like in the States, and even in the States, when some seeds even do grow a little bit, they just die because it's too weak. The seeds are too weak. They don't have enough nutrition. They've been manipulated too much, you know, over time. So it causes them to have all these dysfunctions. And then what do you think that happens when you eat it? You know, what you eat is what you are, is what they say. So, you know, I want to be able to see that all my stuff is organic and don't have all these chemicals in it. Like I don't mind if a bug bites a couple of my leaves that I have growing, because that goes to show me that it's a good crop. You know, I don't want my stuff to look, you know, too perfect. Because in the States, like stuff looks too perfect. Like I remember seeing an orange, and it was so bright orange, and it had no seeds inside, and I tried it, and it was like super sweet. It was like, but the sweetness didn't linger around too much. So you could tell it was modified to have that touch of keep wanting more, you know, and not feel satisfied. Like here, I could eat a plate of like, and that doesn't even have to be a lot of food, like a few, like some vegetables, you know, some beans or something. Not too much food, and I feel completely satisfied. And I can go like that for the rest of the day, and have enough energy. Like in the stuff that when I eat it, it's not like I feel super tired afterwards. In the States, I was always feeling tired, but I was eating good. Like I was, you know, I wasn't eating meat. I was eating all the right things that I was supposed to, but it was because the stuff had been modified too much, and it just wasn't clean and organic. It just wasn't really organic. In the States, they could say whatever on the labels, because if it passes this amount of stuff, then it's labeled as organic, but it's really just not organic, because why would you add all these extra conditions to the food? It just doesn't make sense. So the food thing, I'm very conscious of what I eat, you know. I don't just put anything into this vessel, because I want it to have the purest and cleanest stuff, and I can do that here on my farms. So that's a huge reason as to why I left and decided to buy 2 farms here. And then the third reason is because the environment. When I stepped off the plane, when I first visited here, I took a deep breath, and it was so clean. The air just felt so clean. And that's in San Jose, where like there's a whole bunch of buildings and stuff everywhere, you know, and cars everywhere. It just was more clean. It was interesting. And then when I got over here to the Caribbean coast, it was even more clean. And it was more like salt. You could smell salt. It was interesting. It was like salty air, and it cleans you, you know. It takes out all that stuff that's inside and all the mucus, you know, stuff like that. So here, like I've been able to heal. I've been able to actually think. So the environment plays a huge role into your physical and mental health, or healing, however you want to label it, you know. So that was a huge thing. And then with the people, there's still racism here, you know. It's not as big as the United States. Like they don't hang people here, or the cops don't go around just shooting people, you know, and then getting away with it. That doesn't, at least of what I've seen or heard, that doesn't go on here. It may not, but it's not as big as the United States, where it happens every single day, and it could be multiple people in just one day, you know. So that's a huge thing for me, is the safety of me and mine and people who look like me, my community, and then for the future generations that come after me. So that's a huge thing. So the environment, the people are way more kind here. Like they'll go out their way to say hello to you and check up on you, say how you doing, and they give you free stuff. Like my neighbor's always giving me soursop, like the plantain, the coconuts, the like guava, all kind of stuff. They just give you lemons, anything. They're more giving people and more, you know. Like when I first moved officially, I went to Limon Centro, and the people there had open arms. They didn't give me those nasty looks. I think it's because it was majority of the original people that were there, so it's not gonna be like that. And it's not as tolerated. Like, it's really not tolerated over here like that. They don't get away with that kind of stuff. I mean, they're coming, and trying to gentrify places. So I'm seeing how that goes. But other than that, yeah, the people are way more kind, and they don't call you nasty names or talk behind your back like that. I mean, there's still people who do drama and but that doesn't really matter. You know, the majority of people are more happy. I see a few people stressed out, but I think it's because of like personal things, or because they're in a situation they don't want to be in. So there's those kind of factors, but in majority, people are happy, and that was like a big thing too. I noticed when I first traveled out the country. I went to Nicaragua, and I was wondering like why are so many people smiling, even though they barely have anything. Like, people are sleeping on dirt and don't even have walls, maybe one wall, and they're in these conditions. They're barely eating, but they're still happy. So I was wondering like what makes them so happy, and it's because they value life over they value money. You know, in capitalist countries, the people are going to be more stressed because they feel like they need more money, more, 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 and they're never satisfied with what they have in front of them. So yeah, the environment, the people, the food, and white supremacy are the reasons why I decided to leave the United States at an early age too, and do my own thing. I think I was 21. Yeah, I was about like 21 when I moved. Yeah, now I'm 22. So yeah, you know, it doesn't matter where you are in life. If you have the belief in yourself to do something, you're gonna do it, and that's my belief. Everybody has their own belief, but I have my own. And everybody has the right to their own beliefs, but I'm just saying what's mine, and then showing by example what's happening. So yeah, this is live from Oxlinks Farms. My reasons as to why I left the United Snakes and decided to make my move to Costa Rica. I'm here in Limon on the Caribbean side. Next time, I'll see you either. My other property is called Selva Negra, which means Black Jungle. So I either see you on Black Jungle or here on Oxlinks Farms. Peace and love. May you have a blessed day. And yeah, fill yourself with positivity, not negativity. Till next time.